So before we get on to the absolute worst of the years, any kind of particular disappointments that's come across your radar?
Yes, and it's one you have just mentioned, in fact. Not a disappointment in terms of I had been looking forward to it, because I knew basically sod all about it. More just that I felt it didn't live up to its potential.
Yeah.
And that's Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah, yeah.
Or rather, Battle Angel Alita. Why did they change the name? It does not scan well the other way around.
Yes.
Because I found the world so interesting.
It is, isn't it?
You could do so much with the world, and then it squanders Christoph Waltz. It's the things that happen in the world make no sense at all. Ed Norton is in it
for seconds,
to be there, completely pointless, and the shies away from all the really interesting stuff to have a really, really boring and poorly acted teen romance between a robot and a tree.
Yes. Yeah, but peculiar, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the one real disappointment, because there could have been so much interesting done in that world.
Yeah.
And Robert Rodriguez has done a really good job of making that world look good and feel interesting. There's so much clear history that could be going on there.
Yeah.
And then he dumps Twilight into the middle of it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. A bit of a whiff. I still say there's enough interesting stuff in the production design to kind of make it at least worth looking at, but yeah, it's not great, as unfortunately is the case. A couple of disappointments for me, more just in the sense that they were hyped up an awful lot, and I didn't get all that much from them, although I don't think any of these are actually bad. Two in particular, A Star Is Born and Green Book. Neither of which are bad films. They're both fairly enjoyable and have lots to recommend in them, some decent performances and all that, but in terms of it being, both of those were being touted as either best of this year or last year candidates, and I just thought they were okay. So that was a bit disappointing for me, at least.
Yeah, A Star Is Born too is like the main character played by Bradley Cooper. He's not a particularly nice guy. And also things that happen with the romance don't make an awful lot of sense. Yeah, and beyond that, I don't really remember much more about that film.
Yeah. Perhaps one other thing, just because the trailer was incredible, Velvet Buzzsaw, and as it turns out, the actuality of it was not great. Not dreadful, but not great either, which was a bit of one of the few things I saw, was immediately very excited by, and was actually kind of immediately deflated by when I saw it not that long afterwards. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame.
Yes, it was underwhelming, that.
Yeah.
And also stupidly named, because the name has basically nothing to do with anything in the film at all.
True that.
Bar one minor bit at the end that was entirely inconsequential. Yes, so now do we get down to the actual bad stuff then? Yes.
And I normally make a disclaimer of keeping horror films as being a separate category, but I've not seen anything this year that's truly dreadful that isn't a horror film, so I can't make that anymore. So yes.
Yeah, I assume it's the same horror film that I've got on my list under basically the same category, Scott.
Yeah, well, I've kind of got I've got three tied for it, so.
I have 4 films in this section. I actually had Alita Battle Angel in there. Not so much just because it was such a big disappointment as we.
Yeah.
My worst film of the year, though, isn't actually the worst film of the year in terms of filmmaking or anything, but it is the film that made me angriest. But I'll come to that.
Right.
But first of all, Midsommar. What a crock.
I agree, yes.
It's a terrible, terrible film. It lasts for 3.5 hours. Nothing happens in. It's not even vaguely scary, and it's just pointless. Utterly pointless film.
Yes. I agree completely. So let's just we'll do the same kind of tag team of the worst ones. Again, this is another cheaty bit. Bird Box came out late 2018 again, and it's dire, and it should be recognised as being dire. It's an awful idea, and it's awfully executed.
So stupid. That film is stupid more than it is bad.
Yes. But yes, heartily anti-recommend that. So yes.
Right. The next one is a film that you and I had surprisingly quite different opinions on. And far from a comment Craig made last week, I think his was much more towards yours, maybe even more so than yours. And that's Hobbs and Shaw, or The Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Right.
And to be honest, I couldn't quite remember why I disliked it so much.
So you watched it again. Good grief.
I went back and listened to us talking about it a few months ago.
Right.
And the quote of mine that comes back to me is, I despise pretty much every minute of this film. So I guess I had quite strong feelings about it at the time. It's just, it's overlong. It makes no sense. It's basically Skynet and the Terminator stuck into the Fast and Furious universe for reasons. I thought that the Rock and Jason Statham back and forth was fine for the first couple of times they did it.
Yeah.
And I actually felt that they didn't believe that the film was really stupid, or at least for not all of it anyway. Idris Elba is terrible, the film's annoying, it lasts way, way longer than it ought to, and F you, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And to put him in there. Every moment that Ryan Reynolds is on screen in that film, my skin was itching and I was just wanting to drive needles into his eyes. And then, if there's that, all of that wasn't enough reason to hate the film, this film, for no reason whatsoever, 1 month after the end of one of the most popular television series in history, certainly in terms of hype and stuff, and again, numbers don't really count for HBO, certainly not nowadays, but gave away the ending of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Presumably out of spite and malice, because there was no reason for it to be in the film. And just in the middle of, right at the end of the film, I'm going to tell you how this incredibly popular thing ends.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen the end of it yet. So this film can go and die in a fire.
Yeah. You make a compelling case. I'm not going to argue against it too much. So I would simply move on to the film that I just could not be bothered with this year, and I don't really have the energy to hate it anymore, to be honest with you, but It Chapter 2, no thank you. I thought It Chapter 1 was about 90 minutes too long, and this is just another 3 hours of stuff you really don't need, and it's really bad, and the CG's awful, and it looks stupid, and everyone in it's an idiot, and it's just annoying, and it's almost purposefully bad. Just a very, very bad film, and even if you could find anything to like in It Chapter 1, there's nothing that is brought forward to It Chapter 2, so just leave well alone.
Yes. There was very, very little I found to like in It Chapter 1, so that's why I haven't even thought about looking at It Chapter 2.
Yes, very sensible.
After you told me the running time.
Yes.
The next one I'm going to mention, it'll be very short. Men in Black International. Just bad. Just straight up bad. I can't believe that the same people that were the stars of that were the stars of Thor Ragnarok, because not only is there no chemistry between Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, it looks like they'd never met before and hated each other on sight. It's an appalling film and utterly pointless.
I've not caught up with that for the same reason that nobody went to see it in the first place, which was who was crying out for another Men in Black film this year. Puzzling decision to have even made it in the first place.
Yeah, there's a franchise of 4 films that should have had a film.
Yes.
It's very strange.
Indeed. I'm actually pretty much done with that, so I don't...
Okay, so I just mentioned my worst film of the year then, which is what I alluded to earlier.
Yes, go ahead.
Which is The Farewell.
Oh, yes, right.
A film during which I was biting my lip and sitting my hands in the cinema because I just wanted to scream at the screen because of how spectacularly unethical and immoral all of the characters' actions were. And this has been presented as some sort of feel-good, funny family drama. And I'm like, no, every person on screen's a scumbag. This is horrendous. You can't just lie to people about them dying.
Yeah.
And I'm so angry about it. And I'm still so angry about it. It's so wrong. And I think I'm taking crazy pills because I'm the only person who seems to be bothered by it.
Yeah, at some point I'm going to have to catch up with it just because it's clearly got your goat so badly, and everyone else seems to think it's so chirpy and happy and all that stuff. But I don't know if they're just going. I don't know why they'd be giving it a free pass if it is as you describe. Not that I'm doubting you, but peculiar choice of actions in that film for a nominal comedy.
Yeah, bizarre. So yeah, again, in terms of acting and the filmmaking stuff, it's a fine film. But in terms of the actual content and the characters' actions, I've seldom been so angry. I mean, for instance, look at something like For Sama. Yes, I'm angry in that, but also most of them I'm weary and sad.
Yeah.
And you'd expect to be angry about that.
Yes.
That's what it's about. But The Farewell, light-hearted family drama comedy. No.
Yeah.
No, it's a immoral, unethical thing where people lie to elderly people about them being dead.
Yeah.
Okay. That film has a bad taste in my mouth and a deep indentation in my lip where my teeth were. So I didn't want to disturb the very full screening I was in by screaming at the screen all sorts of expletives.
In many ways, that's why Netflix has taken off so much. You can scream at the screen as much as you like in the comfort of your own home without being sectioned on the Mental Health Act, so it's always good.